Are you an Australian IT professional looking to minimize your tax liability? In this video, we'll dive into the top tax deductions available to you. Join me as I dive into the top tax deductions for Australian IT professionals and see if I can find every single one that could save you some serious cash. From home office expenses to professional development costs, we'll cover the most common deductions you may be eligible for. Whether you're a software engineer, IT consultant, or cybersecurity expert, this video is designed to help you maximize your tax refund and keep more of your hard-earned money. So, what are you waiting for? Watch now and start saving. When it comes to tax time, Australian IT professionals have a chance to claim some serious deductions that can put some extra cash back in their pockets. But to take advantage of these savings, it's essential to understand what you're eligible for and how to claim them. In this video, we'll explore the top tax deductions available to Australian IT professionals, and I'll share some valuable insights to help you maximize your tax return. As an IT professional, you might be surprised at how many expenses you can claim back on tax. But the reality is that many of us don't take full advantage of these deductions because we're not entirely sure what we're eligible for, or we find the process of tracking and claiming these expenses too complex or time-consuming. Maybe you're worried that you'll get audited if you claim something you're not supposed to, or perhaps you simply don't know where to start when it comes to keeping track of your expenses. Whatever the reason, it's essential to understand that claiming tax deductions is a normal part of being an Australian taxpayer, and it's your right to claim back what you're entitled to. One of the biggest challenges IT professionals face when it comes to tax deductions is knowing what expenses are eligible. Are you allowed to claim that new laptop you bought for work, or is it only partially deductible? What about the money you spent on attending that industry conference? Can you claim back the cost of your daily coffee on the way to work? These are just a few examples of the many expenses you might be able to claim back. But without a clear understanding of what's eligible, you could be leaving money on the table. Let's first discuss about car expenses. Unfortunately, you can't deduct your everyday commute to work on your taxes. That includes if you have a long distance to travel to get to your job, or if you have to work odd hours, like late at night to fix computer servers. These types of expenses are considered part of normal daily living and aren't eligible for tax deductions. If you own a car and use it for work-related purposes, you may be able to claim the expenses on your taxes. This includes driving between different jobs in the same day, such as if you work for two separate employers. You can also claim the cost of driving to and from a different work location for the same employer in the same day, like a computer technician who goes from their office to a client's site. These expenses can add up, so make sure to keep track of them for when tax time rolls around. Certain situations may allow you to deduct the expenses of traveling between your home and work. This includes scenarios where you have different work locations and need to travel between them throughout the day. Additionally, if you need to transport large tools or equipment that are necessary for your job and you do not have the option to leave them at work, you may be eligible for this deduction. Make sure that these tools or equipment are vital to your job and are not just items you choose to bring with you. If you want to claim car expenses on your taxes, there are two main methods you can use: the logbook method or the cents per kilometre method. If you choose to go with the logbook method, you'll need to keep a detailed logbook to track the percentage of work-related use of your car, as well as provide written evidence of your car expenses. This means keeping receipts and records of all your car-related costs. Alternatively, you can use the cents per kilometre method, where you calculate your deduction based on the number of work-related kilometres you've travelled. You'll need to show how you arrived at this number and prove that those kilometres were for work purposes. Both methods require keeping accurate records to support your claim and ensure you're claiming the correct amount. It's important to stay organised and keep all necessary documentation to make the process run smoothly. Working from home expenses. If you work from home, you may be able to deduct some of the expenses you have from your job. To do this, you have to follow the rules. Make sure to keep good records of all the expenses you want to deduct. This will help you when you calculate how much you can deduct. By keeping good records and following the rules, you can save money on your taxes. You are not eligible to claim expenses for things like coffee, tea, milk, and other household items that are provided by your employer while at work. The same goes for items provided by your employer, such as a laptop or phone. Additionally, you cannot claim reimbursement for any expenses that your employer already covers. So make sure to only claim expenses that are directly related to your work and not covered by your employer. Self-education and study expenses. If you're taking a course that directly helps you in your current job, you might be able to claim your self-education expenses. This could be for something that helps you get better at what you're already doing, or something that could potentially lead to a pay raise. For instance, if you take a class to learn new software that's needed for you to do your job better, you could possibly get reimbursed for that. You can't claim a tax deduction for your education expenses if the course you are taking is only loosely related to your current job, or if it is specifically aimed at helping you land a new job. For example, if you are already working as a software programmer but are studying to become a project manager, you would not be able to claim a deduction for those study expenses. Deductions for education expenses are typically only allowed if the course directly relates to improving your skills in your current occupation. Let's talk about clothing and laundry expenses. Unfortunately, you can't deduct the expenses for buying, renting, fixing, or washing regular work clothes that you wear on the job, even if your boss tells you to wear them and you only wear those clothes at work. Regular clothes are just normal clothes that people wear every day. This includes things like business suits and office attire that office workers wear. Unfortunately, you can't claim these expenses on your taxes. As an IT worker, if you have to go to field and wear protective gear including high visibility vest, you are able to claim the expenses of buying, renting, fixing, or washing. When it comes to tax deductions, there are some expenses that you can't claim. Things like music subscriptions, childcare expenses, and fines are not tax deductible. Also, if your employer already covered the cost of something or reimbursed you for it, you can't claim it as a deduction on your taxes. It's important to keep these rules in mind when you're filing your taxes to make sure you're not trying to claim something that isn't allowed. If you use your phone and internet for work, you can claim a portion of those costs as a work-related expense. Just make sure you keep records to show how you use them for work. The same goes for any tools or equipment you use. If they cost more than $300, you can claim a deduction for the cost over a period of time. But if they cost $300 or less, and aren't part of a set that costs more than $300, you can claim the whole cost as a deduction right away. It's a good way to get some money back for the things you need to do your job. The final tip I want to share with you is to stay organized and keep all your records in one place. This will make it easy to find what you need when it comes time to do your tax return, and will also help you keep track of your expenses throughout the year. In summary, we've covered some of the top tax deductions available to Australian IT professionals, including home office expenses, work-related education and training, and equipment costs. By understanding what you're eligible for and keeping accurate and detailed records, you'll be able to maximize your tax return and put some extra cash back in your pocket. Thanks for watching. If you've had any experiences with tax deductions, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my other videos for more taxation tips.